Jargon is the special language of some field, be it medicine, be it law, be it any field, literature. Notice my be it, that subjunctive be it. Jaunty, energetic, feeling very good. He walked along with a jaunty step. To jeer is to mock, make fun of. The public jeered at him or jeered him. A jester is a clown. A court jester in a medieval and Renaissance court wore the silly hat, danced around, did tricks, made people laugh. To jest is much more important. To jest is to tell a joke. Jest is a really important word. I would suggest jester is not so important, in my opinion. Jovial, happy. It's actually from Jupiter, Jove. Another name of Jupiter, Latin is Jove. Jovial is happy, happy and generous. Jubilee, our last word, is a celebration, usually at the end of some large number of years, 50 or 100 years, or 1,000 even, a celebration of that big anniversary. Is it okay? Locomotive, didn't we have that before? Yes, had it before. Train. Lofty, elevated, high. He has lofty goals, high goals. Love, how shall we define love? From the loose I love bulgogi to a little more exalted I love truth. I love my country, maybe. I love her. I love my friend too. Huge range of meanings. To lubricate is to put oil on so that it functions more, so that it becomes more mobile, so that it moves more freely. Lucid means full of light. If I'm a lucid thinker, then I think in a clear way. If I am lucid, the opposite is not thinking clearly. If I'm lucid, I'm thinking clearly. Luminescent, full of light. Lust, one of the 7 deadly sins. Lust means desire, sexual desire. It can mean lust for example, bloodlust, a passionate desire for revenge, for example, lust for blood. Luxurious, strictly speaking, originally comes from luxuria, Latin lust, one of the 7 deadly sins. But from that, in modern usage, luxurious means rich, a luxurious home, a luxurious car, luxury. Macrocosm is the universe, really. Microcosm is a small version of the universe. Macro, big, large. Micro, small. Magnanimous, excellent word. Really it means great-hearted, having a generous heart. Magnanimous praise. He was magnanimous in his praise, having a really generous heart. Magnificent simply means on a grand scale, impressive. Magnifier is something which magnifies. We usually say a magnifying glass, that is a glass that one holds to make small things look larger. Maladroit, French word. Maladroit, hardly used in English, it's the French word, means clumsy, not very skillful, clumsy. A malcontent is a person who is always dissatisfied, always complaining. Malevolent means wanting evil, wanting bad things. The opposite is benevolent, wanting good things. A malevolent glance, he looked at me with a malevolent glance, he hates me. Malicious, related to malice. Oh. Sorry. Malicious, related to malice, seeking evil. Malicious and malevolent, very similar. To malign, excellent word, is to say bad things about. He maligned her cooking. He maligned anything, mostly serious things. Malignant, hateful. Mandated. People like to use this word these days in the light of the American presidential election. They say, for example, that assuming that Bush will win, he will not have the mandate of the people, meaning he will win with less than 50% of the vote. And this is serious in American culture. He has not been mandated. Manifest means obvious. It was manifest to all that he was angry. Mansion is simply a large home, usually in the country, though possibly in a city. But Koreans like to use this word too. Villa and mansion. But that's okay. Manual means done by hand. Manual labor is work done by hand. To mar is to harm. To harm, to damage, especially to damage. But one can mar the occasion by spoiling people's fun, by saying bad things or behaving badly. To masticate is to chew. Not used. Doctor, medical word. Maturation, maturity, these are related, of course. The maturation process, we like to say in English, the process of maturing, of growing to adulthood. Maturity is the state of having reached adulthood. Meager is slim, slender, meager funds, doesn't have much money. A meager learning, meager knowledge in some subject. Not considerable, very small. To meddle is to interfere. He meddled with his friend's bank account or something. Medicinal is simply having to do with medicine. The joke is that a person might drink alcohol, quote, for medicinal purposes. It's a joke. Mediocre, great word, noun form mediocrity, means average, but really it's average in a disparaging again, or belittling, pejorative sense. Mediocre, he is mediocre, he is a mediocre student, not very good. Not good at all. To meditate is to think about, to ponder, to think about presumably something serious. We talk about premeditated murder, that is murder that has, if I think for a long time, it's not a sudden action, it's a calculated, premeditated action. To menace is to threaten. Okay. Menace can also be a noun. He is a menace to society. We should lock him up and keep him under lock and key. Mercenary, especially a noun, a mercenary soldier is a soldier who will fight for anyone for money. Mercenary as an adjective means generally avaricious, greedy, seeking money. A mermaid is some mythical creature in the waters who is half human and half fish. Mesa, mesa means table in Spanish, but a mesa is like a plateau, I think, in the western states, western United States. They often use Spanish terms for these things. A mess, a mess is a disorderly situation. To mess things up is to make a mess. Her hair is a mess, in a messy, disordered, disheveled condition. Metamorphosis, good word, a total change, not a small change. Famous work of literature, classical literature by Ovid, the Metamorphoses. Microcosm, we had macrocosm before. A microcosm is a small version, presumably, of the universe. For example, an old myth that's been used several times, especially in German literature, the ship of fools. We focus on a ship. A ship makes for a great microcosm. And on that ship we have various kinds of people. That ship is a microcosm of humanity. Good way to analyze humanity. Migrate is from which we have immigrate, emigrate. To migrate is to travel from place to place, usually in a seasonal way, like birds migrate south for the winter. Mimic, as a verb especially, is to imitate, to copy. A mimic is a person who can even be a performer who performs without speaking and makes these hand actions, you know, the kind. A misanthrope is a hater of mankind. And oh good, we have misogynists here too. And I'll even add one that most people don't know, but good students should know. A misandrist. A misandrist is a hater of men. After all, if there can be misogynists, surely there can be misandrists too. A misogynist is a hater of women. Mischievous, notice the spelling, notice the pronunciation. Universally misspelled, mispronounced. Because Americans will always say mischievous, but there is no I there, there is no E there. Mischievous. From mischief, meaning liking to play tricks, liking to play jokes on people. A miser is a person who hoards, H-O-A-R-D, money. Doesn't like to spend money, notice, loves money for itself. The 7 deadly sins keep coming up. We've had lust here, and I think we had envy before. The 7 deadly sins, I said I'd talk about sometime, but avarice, which I think we had a long time ago under the A's, avarice, Dr. Shin, do you remember? Avarice, one of the 7 deadly sins. The point is that there are various kinds of avarice. There are those who crave money for itself. There are those who crave money for what they can buy with it, the possessions that come with it. These are two very different creatures, and there are other refinements of it too. Missive is a letter, really. Mock, to mock, in its pure sense means to imitate. But to mock someone in modern culture is to make fun of someone. Modified, the verb to modify, is to change, to alter, usually slightly, not totally. A modified version of something is a slightly changed version of something. Moisture is dampness, not wetness, dampness. Mold, as a verb, to mold something or even someone is to shape the thing. He molded the clay into a statue. He molded his child into a good student and a good citizen, let's say, possible. A mold can be a noun too. It's the form in which one pours maybe a liquid in order to make, say, an ice sculpture or something like that. Moles, interesting word. I assume moles are these things that form on some people's skin. If it's not that, I'm not sure what we want there. Monarch is a king, a ruler. He or she rules alone, mono. Monotonous, all one tone. Some people speak in a monotonous voice, and it's very difficult to pay attention to them. Morbid is having to do with disease, really. That's what the Latin word means. But if we say he has a morbid sense of humor, that means he likes to make jokes about death, about sickness, about bad things. Or he's morbidly interested in death. It's a sickness, almost.